Kwam Yasharala Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, Yahweh being the one true God of the nation of Yasharala, Bahashem meaning in the name of, and Yahushai being the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly and unknowingly calls Jesus Christ. And y'all see the abomination that's being shown on this video. I don't really have to state it too plainly because y'all understand why these things are going on. And ultimately, this is just a rebuke of this wicked spirit of this land of America. Again, if you feel like America needs to be preserved by the Most High, that America was a nation that was once watched over by the Most High, it's just the farthest thing from the truth. Now, while other nations can see and condemn this wickedness, this wicked spirit that's going on, we understand that the elites, the U.S. government, the President Joe Biden, his cabinet, they're clearly being stated because they want to exacerbate this wicked spirit, which is the transformer spirit, which is the pederasty spirit, which is essentially the spirit that they're going to use to try to come upon a lot of small kids. I don't know if y'all brothers have, small children and things like that. I got an aunt who lives in, California. And he was telling me about how I think the California legislator, they passed a law where essentially they can take away your children if you refuse to identify them based off of the identity that they want to be called, whether that be a boy, a girl, he, she, they, them, all the adjectives in the English dictionary. And that ultimately shows you that, one, in the eyes of the state, your kid is not really yours, and that you have to essentially raise your kid to whatever agenda they have. But more importantly, it shows you the satanic and the wicked agenda that they are coming for your children, because once they understand how moldable and how innocent and how ignorant a child's mind can be, they can shape it into whatever they want. And that's ultimately why these agendas always go for the children, because they understand the next generation is very susceptible to spiritual debauchery, spiritual wickedness, spiritual immorality. And that's why you have all these people supporting these abominations, even though we understand most of these people are of the nation of Esau. And that also shows you the wickedness of that nation and how they have a perverse spirit, and that how ultimately they have to have their rulership taken away, point blank, period. So when you understand that this nation is being run by liberalism, by the Democratic Party, by people who support abominations, you understand the fate of what's going to happen to the nation. We're going to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 18:1. It says, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, in the hold of every foul spirit, in a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. All nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." And this is a twofold prophecy, because we understand that this is speaking about the land of Babylon. Once Yahushua, once the Most High's holy archangels come and literally wipe this place off the face of the earth with fire, we understand that that's the judgment that's going to come upon this nation, just like what happened with Sodom and Gomorrah in the time of Abraham and in the time of Lot and his family. But you also have to understand spiritually, this is a land dwelling with all unclean spirits, all unclean birds, all hateful and wicked abominations. Why? Because when you read the scriptures, you oftentimes understand that the term bird, the term beast, trees of the field, those can be symbolic of the people who dwell in those lands, because a lot of the carnal natures of human beings is likened unto beasts, and some of the beasts are clean, some of the beasts are unclean. We understand that. So you have to understand that this land is the place that's creating a lot of these seances for these wicked and perverse spirits. And that spirit is going to come upon the weak-minded, spiritually weak-minded. A lot of these agendas go after the woman. A lot of Jake women, they like to promote these things. When I was going around my city the last couple weeks, you've seen a lot of liberal women supporting these abominations. A lot of our people going out and supporting these abominations for Juneteenth, for Pride Month, and all these things. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it shows you how the perverseness of this society has essentially climbed and exasperated to a whole nother level. And it's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. As the society goes away from the teachings of the scriptures, from the order that the Most High has established through his word and through the men who essentially promote his word and preach his word unto them. And as they become more openly rebellious, this society is going to dwell into a state of more and more lawlessness. That's just how it has to go. I want to actually go to the book of Matthew as well. This is Matthew 24:12. It says, because iniquity will abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So again, this is, we all understand these scriptures, but again, this is just iniquity waxing worse and worse. And one thing you do have to understand about the month of June is that it is a spiritual seance to allow that wicked and perverse spirit to get worse each and every year. Me personally, when I was in the world, I didn't necessarily openly condemn these movements, but I always felt in my spirit that there was something weird and something off about the people who supported these things and just the movement in general. Now, as the Most High has blessed me with understanding to realize how wicked and how openly perverse the spirit is, I openly say it in videos speaking unto brothers. And the reason why you have to speak on these things is because if your voice is not being heard, if the word of the Most High is not being heard, you cannot cut these people in the spirit. And for those who realize that the movements are wicked, they're going to continue to go after them. Again, that's why Yahushua says, I wish that you were hot or cold, but because you are lukewarm, I will spew thee out of thy mouth. You have to understand, anybody who's truly following after Yahushua HaMashiach is going to condemn these people, because these people are filled with darkness and there's no light in them. And if any of them have a chance of discovering that light, they have to be rebuked for the things that they support. Because this is crazy. This is madness. They're blatantly telling you that they're coming after your children. So at the end of the day, are you just going to sit back and allow abominations to go rampant on the street? No, at the end of the day, you're going to be bold as a lion. The righteous are as bold as a lion. The wicked flee when none pursue it. Ultimately, you got to push out the word and understand that this shit is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. And until somebody comes and takes me out of whatever freedom, whatever sanity I have, I will never support this. And I know a lot of brothers who feel the same way. It's just the truth, man. None of this abomination is ever going to be supported by a true man or true woman who truly venerates and follows the Most High. No matter how much they try to scare us and bring up these things about, oh, you don't follow this, I don't care how y'all feel about it. This is an abomination, no matter any way you want to, spew it. You feel me? Now, going into the book of Hebrews, chapter 4 and verse 12, I'll start at 11. It says, let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joint and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. So the reason why the word of the Most High must come out is because when you speak it, the demons that plague these people in their mind is going to come out and show you the intent of their heart. And again, the word is a purifier. The word is a cleanser. So the word can cast out these demons. In the same way that the living word came out and cast out the demons, cast out the legion in people, they had these wicked and strange and perverse spirits in a land of iniquity, similar to what we're living in right now, whether it be in ancient Corinth, whether it be in ancient Ephesians, wherever it might have been. When the apostles came, the word had to be preached, and essentially those strange and wicked spirits, they would reveal themselves. They would show that they were under the aspects of darkness, or the word would come out and it would allow the lost Israelite foreigners who in a Gentile state to come out and repent of the wickedness from them following after these false abominations, these false doctrines, these false ways. So that's why the word has to come out and condemn these people, because at the end of the day, that's the only way that the light and the dark are going to be manifest in the minds of the people. And also, even in the book of Ephesians, it speaks about condemning these wicked and dark works that we're seeing in these last days. This is Ephesians chapter 5, and we'll go to verse 10. It says, proving what is acceptable unto the Most High, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. And you got to really ask yourself a question. If these people are willing to come out in public and explain to you that they're literally coming for your children, then everything about the Bohemian Grove, everything about the pizza parties and Epstein Island, the things that are coming out in the back that people call conspiracy theories, then that clearly shows you where they stand. If you have Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and his cabinet openly speaking about how they support these things and openly speaking about how there's nothing wrong with it, what do you think they've been doing in the background for thousands and thousands of years? Going back into 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, where Paul spoke about the mystery of iniquity will be revealed. You see? It's just the plain and honest truth. And that's why we see a greater divide. We see a greater backlash of people from people who don't support this, even though they're obviously the minority. We understand that. The reason why these things are being promoted is because the merchants and the kings, the people who are at high estates, who have been, dwelling in the fornication of the whore of Babylon, essentially they're getting paid and they're getting the money that they need to continue to live in a life of delicacies. But ultimately, for them to have that state, they're going to have to wax worse with the wickedness and the perverseness of the things that are being promoted on this land. And it's a damn abomination. But hey, that's just the Bible coming into fruition. So as the wickedness comes into fruition, the light is going to manifest itself more and more each and every day through the rebuke and through the chastisement and through the correctness of these abominations that are coming upon this land and all upon the earth. I want to go to verse 13. It says, "But all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light. For whatsoever does make manifest is light. Wherefore he said, Awakest you that who sleepeth, and arise from the dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light." And for anybody who might have lived a strange lifestyle before, just to be honest, I've never really met any brothers who dabbled in that stuff. I know there are certain women who more than likely have, a lot of women, they have bisexual thoughts and they might kiss their girl. That's an abomination. Anything that a woman does with a woman is just as abominable as what a man does with a man. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no respect of persons on that. A lesbian is just as wicked as a homosexual, as a flaming F, if you want to put it that way. Period. But you understand, in that time period, in the life that people used to live in the world, we had a lot of these people who would be kind of on the fence about it. They would be like, oh, well, don't do this to me, but I got no problem with it. You have to understand the wickedness of that lifestyle that you choose to live and that you choose to, accept around you. The light and darkness don't mix at the end of the day. And if you choose to mix with the darkness, you're going to become corrupted with it. No matter how much righteousness you think you have, if you're not willing to separate yourself completely from any of these philosophies, any of these movements, any of the financial kickback that you get from following these movements, the social kickback you get, the social acceptance that you get from following these movements, then you will suffer the same fate as the people who followed these movements thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. Going into the book of Jude. This is Jude chapter 1, verse 6. It says, "And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in a like manner gave themselves over to fornication and going after strange lust, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Likewise also these filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion, and speak evil of dignities." So it's very ironic that at the same time these things are being promoted, you see a more open and blatant attack of the King James Bible. I don't know if y'all brothers seen this, but there was news that some county, they're starting to essentially take the KJV out of their curriculum, out of the academic outline. So, as things progress, they may not be happening as quickly as what's going on in China or North Korea, where people are being imprisoned for trying to teach their kids the Bible. But hey, that's going to be the final archetype of how this land in America is going to be. And in order for America to get into that point, they're going to have to deal with more uprisings. They're going to have to deal with more political backlash, more oppression of those who truly follow after these words, who truly live them, and who truly rebuke other people for following after that lifestyle and telling them the judgment. As those spirits continue to get ramped up and reveled up in people's mind when they hear the pure word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, hey, that's just what it's going to be. And as times get worse and worse, the wickedness is going to get more and more angry and upset that the light refuses to follow after the darkness. But hey, ultimately, that's the way of the Most High. And if you want to stand with those philosophies, if you want to stand with these people coming after your children blatantly, then remember the price that you get for following after wickedness. This is Isaiah 5:20. It says, "Woe unto them who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them who are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight, Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink, which justify the wickedness for reward, and take away the righteousness of the righteous for him. Therefore, as the fire devoureth the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, so their root shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. So that's going to be the essential final reward for those who choose to justify this wickedness, who continue to revel in that strong wine, the indignation, all that sinlessness that they doing. This is going to be your reward. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. It's the brother Ashai Ba'Shem.